Greetings and welcome to a new video about analog electronics, and this is our first example about the BJT circuits, which is called the Bipolar Junction Transistor. We will discuss the basics about this circuit using this BJT transistor. We will see two conditions or two ranges of operation in this example. Of course, we will look at our calculations step by step and also verify these in our SPICE simulations. So let's look at our example. We have the following circuit given with these values. We have two DC voltage sources, so VBB and VCC. The values are shown here. And we have also two resistors, RB and RC. This is called the base resistance, and this is the collector resistance. The values are shown here. So 50 kilo ohms for the base resistor and 500 for the collector resistance. We also have the VBE and the beta. These are the parameters for the transistor. So VBE is the base emitter voltage, which is 700 millivolts or 0.7 volts. And we have also the beta, which is the current gain. In this case, this is 100. Now we would like to calculate the following. In A, we would like to calculate what the IB, IC, and IE is. Those are the currents here. So this is the base, the collector branch, and also the emitter branch. So three currents. Also, I'd like to know what is the collector emitter voltage, VCE. Now we will repeat the equation A, but then we will change our C from 500 ohms to 2 kilo ohms. So we'd like to see what kind of effect it has on our values. Okay, we assume, of course, first the linear region of operation for the transistor, and then we check later if it is really the case. So let's look at our solutions for the case for the 500 ohms for RC. So first case, we'll look at the circuit, and we recognize from our circuit analysis that we can make a loop here at the input. We can also make it the output, but it's always easy where you start with the parameters where you know most of the values. And for this case, I will start with the input loop and we'll apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law there. So we can say the VBB is equal to the voltage drop across the RB plus the voltage VBE. That's shown here. Now the voltage drop across the RB is RB times the IB. That is just Ohm's law. Now we want to know the IB, so that's already shown here, and we can now substitute the values we have from this example. We have 4 volts for the VBB and 5 times 10 to the power 4, so 50 kilo ohms for the RB, and we have the IB as unknown, and 0.7 is now assumed as that voltage drop between the base and the emitter node. Now we can work it out, and IB will be then 66 microamps. We will check this later in the SPICE simulator. Then we have the following, and now we assume that this linear condition, and then we can say the collector current is related to the base current by just the beta. So beta is multiplied, and then you get the collector current. And this is then 100 times the 66 microamps, and it will give you 6.6 milliamps for the collector current. Okay. In a similar case, you can do the emitter. An emitter is given by, the emitter current is given by the beta plus 1 times the base current. You can also see that from the Kirchhoff's current law, because the IC, the current through the collector branch and also the base, will need to add up and will produce IE. And if you now add the beta times IB plus IB, will get beta plus 1 times IB. Again, if you now calculate this out using the value we know from the base current, you will get 6.666, so 6.666 milliamps. These together will add up to this emitter current. Now we have these three currents. Now the next one is the VCE. Now we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law at the output loop. So this is actually this loop. Now we can set up again the equation. We can say VCC will now make this voltage plus this voltage. So this is actually shown here. And the voltage across the RC is, again, using Ohm's law, the resistor value times the current flowing through it. Now, we can now set up the equations so that we can isolate the VCE. That's shown here. And if I now substitute the given values, 9 volts for my VCC, RC is 500, and we already know the IC, which is 6.6 milliamps. Now we have then the following 5.7 volts. 5.7 volts is larger than 0.2 volts because this is the limit for our linear region of operation. If you have a lower than 0.2 approximately volts for the VCE, when you calculate this, that means you're not working in the linear region or active region, but you are now in the saturation region. That is important. So we have now assumed before we started that this is a linear region, and we checked it now, and it's indeed correct. Okay, now we look at question B and repeat everything, and we'd like to calculate these four values. Now we know from the current calculations that it is not dependent on the RC when you do the calculations here. So there is no RC in here. It's only at the VCE calculations. So we can say, if I now look and assume again linear region of operation, we can say this is valid. So the IC is equal to the beta times IB, linear region. And we can say the IB is equal to that, IC is that, and IE that. So those three values are just from the solutions from the part in A. Now we have a new value for VCE. That's again the same formula, but the RC is changed. So let's now substitute. It's now 2000 instead of 500. Now you will get minus 4.2 volts, which is smaller than 0, or smaller than 0.2, I must say. And that is then smaller than VCE SAT, saturation value, which is then 200 millivolts. That is just an approximate value. You need to check that this is indeed working in the linear region or in the saturation region. Then we need to start actually over, because the BJT is not operating in the linear region but in the saturation region. That means the following: VCE is now set equal to VCE SAT, which is 0.2 volts. So this voltage between these two nodes is 200 millivolts. Now we can now set up the equation to calculate the current here, which is then the new current for the collector, which is now IC SAT, the saturated current for the collector. And that is just using the Ohm's law, which is then this voltage divided by the resistor, which is then VCC minus the 0.2 here divided by the resistor. And it will give you 4.4 milliamps. So it is now not 6.6 milliamps anymore, it's 4.4 milliamps. Now when you move on, and now you can calculate also the rest of the parameters, but IB is of course not dependent on the value of the VCE here, so it is just this loop. So we can just take it from question A. And we know IE, this current, is a summation of the IC and IB. Now IB is still 66 microamps, but IC SAT is the new value, 4.4 milliamps. So we can add them up. The new one, that will give us 4.466 milliamps. Also changed, so you can see it is changing. Now we get a new beta. So the beta what we had before, 100, is not anymore 100. It is changed, and it's called beta force, because it is changed by the saturation region of operation of the bipolar transistor. Now we have now IC SAT, and we also have the IB. This is a new condition, and if I now substitute the values, 4.4 milli divided by the 66 microamps, you will get a new value, 66.67 or 66.7 as the beta forced. So it is reduced because of this saturation region. Okay, now let's now make the summary of the results. Now we have this table. You can see the question A has the RC of 500 and RC of 2000 for question B. You can see the base currents, it is not changed, but the collector currents is changed because the beta was actually changed, and also we had the saturation region of operation. So this is the operation region. In this case, the linear or active, and we have the second one is saturated. You can also see the emitter current is changed, and the beta is also changed from 100 to 66.67 or 66.7. We also see the collector voltage was changing, so from 5.7 volts, it became actually minus 4.2 when we assumed the linear region of operation, and then we said, since this is smaller than 0.2, we know that this is now fixed to approximately 0.2 volts. Now that's the conclusion for this A and B in this summary in the table. And we know that this is always true, no matter what kind of operation region you have. This is always true because of the Kirchhoff's current law, because these two branches must add up the emitter current. Okay, let's bring this and then also look at the simulation results. This is the first case for the linear region of operation. You can see the following. You can see the RC, RB, everything is actually in here. And I measure actually also the voltage across these two nodes. This is the BJT NPN transistor, because this is NPN, which is the formation of this transistor. You can see the values here, the currents in each brand and also the voltage. So if I look at this row, you can see it's 5.7 approximately, which is very close to what we have calculated. 6.666 milliamps, also very close to what we have. It is a little bit different. And we have also 6.611 milliamps here. It's a little bit larger than that one. And this is also very close to what we have calculated. So you can say very close to what we have calculated also in the simulator. The next situation is for the saturation region of operation. Now you can see the collector current is a little bit changed, but still very close to 66 microamps. You can see the collector current is indeed 4.4 milliamps approximately, so 4.45 actually milliamps, so a small error there. Because the RC is changed from 500 ohms to 2 kilo ohms, everything is actually the same, only this one has changed. You can see it's 4.5 milliamps here. It is a little bit larger than that one, because the VCE here is 103 millivolts and not 200 millivolts we have assumed. This is just an assumption, of course, because we say it is saturation region of operation. We don't have the guarantee that in this model that is set to 200. Maybe it is 160, maybe it is 210, depending on the region of operation. It's not just a very simple value. But we can see it is quite nice looking at the currents and also the calculations we have made using just a 0.2 volts from the VCE set. Now, if you look at the model of this NPN transistor from the SPICE simulator, you get a lot of information, and this is of course not included in our calculations. So it's not really a surprise that you don't get exact values. So don't get surprised or alarmed. Of course, if you need to design a circuit, you need to fine-tune your circuit by adjusting some parameters, maybe the resistor, maybe the voltage value here. Now, so we can just say it is perfectly fine looking at the calculation, also the simulation values, and in the errors we have made using very simple models. Alright guys, this is our first example looking at the BJT, where we considered two conditions, two regions of operations. One is the region for the active region, which is this row, and the other one was the saturation region of operation, where you get less current here because of the saturation. This is the first example. I will continue with more examples considering the topics for BJT in great detail and also considering other characteristics. So if you have any questions about this example, please let me know and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Stay tuned and don't forget to like and share these videos so that we can reach more people for these interesting topics. See you next time in another video. Take care.